550 Days of Secrets. The private teachings Jesus gave only to James. Imagine holding a manuscript whispered about for centuries, a scroll containing not just stories, but a direct, intimate dialogue with a master who has already crossed the veil. This isn't the public teaching everyone heard. This is the inner circle. Halivel Wistama, private conversation shared between Jesus, his closest brother, James, and Peter, over a hidden 550 days after the resurrection. What secrets would be too potent, too critical, or too easily misunderstood for the crowds? We're about to dive into the profound warnings and electrifying promises concealed within the secret book of James. Stick around, because the path to genuine spiritual fulfillment starts with what the Master told his chosen few, the exclusive transmission of the deepest wisdom. The journey into this profound teaching begins with an act of deep trust. James, the Master's brother and a pillar of the emerging movement, penned this letter to a singular recipient. His salutation, a cascade of spiritual blessings, sets to tone. May serenity lead to affection, which yields divine favor, strengthening unwavering assurance, culminating in a sacred existence. He acknowledged the request. The recipient desired a copy of a mysterious text, a collection of insights disclosed to James and Peter by the Master himself. James felt he could neither refuse the request nor speak the sensitive contents aloud. Therefore, he transcribed the text in the ancient Hebrew script and entrusted it to this one person. Here lies the initial, powerful warning that colors the entire document. Handle this wisdom with care. James urged the recipient, as steward of the faithful, to be extremely cautious about who received this book. He clarified that this concentrated wisdom was something the Master chose not to communicate even to all 12 of his inner circle. It was meant for those prepared for its weight and depth. Yet, he offered a powerful reassurance. A great blessing awaits those whose spiritual liberation and salvation are secured through the conviction inspired by this text. James mentions that he had sent another, separate esoteric text nearly 10 months prior. He suggested that the recipient view that earlier book as a revelation primarily intended for him, James, but this new manuscript was different. James admitted he hadn't fully grasped its totality, underscoring its multi-layered meaning. Crucially, he emphasized that this revelation was specifically for the recipient and their dedicated community. The directive is clear. Dedicate yourself to comprehending its true meaning. This profound personal understanding is the very mechanism of achieving spiritual well-being, and once grasped, it becomes a sacred charge to responsibly share its light. The post-resurrection school, the narrative then shifts to an extraordinary scene. The 12 followers were gathered, diligently cataloging and writing down all the teachings the Master had shared, whether through subtle metaphor or open instruction. James was focused on composing his personal record. Then, suddenly, the Master reappeared. This was no immediate aftermath of the resurrection. This extraordinary interlude spanned 550 days after he was raised from the dead. In a state of awe and confusion, the disciples asked, "Have you truly departed and left us?" The Master's response was illuminating, distinguishing between his true destination and his earthly relationship with them. "No," he replied, "I am simply returning to the origin from which I came. If you genuinely aspire to accompany me, then step forward." They pledged their obedience, declaring they would come if commanded. His subsequent reply introduced one of the most vital, foundational concepts of the secret teaching. Spiritual fulfillment is not attained by external command. I tell you the truth. No one will ever gain entry to the celestial domain simply because I ordered it. Entry is achieved because you yourselves have become fully saturated. This concept of being filled became the heart of the subsequent dialogue. The Master then separated James and Peter from the others, taking them aside for a private infusion of this deeper knowledge, commanding the rest to continue their practical work. To the two he selected, he affirmed they had been uniquely favored by the source to receive his most concentrated sayings. He then issued a cautionary note regarding the writings of the other disciples. They were writing his words, yes, but they were acting without full, true comprehension. They had listened, he suggested, like people under a cloud of distractions, spiritually intoxicated, and had failed to truly grasp the essence. The Master's questions become intensely personal and challenging. Don't you wish to be fully saturated? Your minds are clouded. Don't you desire to achieve clarity? you ought to reevaluate your commitment. He urged them to remember, whether they were awake or resting, that they had engaged directly with the Son of Humanity, spoken with him, and listened to his voice. The paradox of blessing and the mandate to be filled, the dual reality of sight and sickness. The Master continued with startling pronouncements, employing sharp contrast, a technique intended to awaken his listeners. He spoke of two paths, one leading to woe, the other to blessing. Woe to those who have seen the Son of Humanity. And conversely, blessed are you who have not seen the human manifestation, nor been companions with him, nor spoken to him, nor heard anything directly from him. Life is yours. This deeply paradoxical statement separates the external, physical experience from the internal, spiritual reception. Simply witnessing the earthly form, or the worldly sun, could lead to confusion and distraction from the true, deeper message. The unseen spiritual truth holds the real key to eternal vitality. He extended this paradox to physical healing. Understand that he restored your health when you were ill, so that you might ultimately achieve sovereignty. But he added a severe warning. Woe to those who found temporary relief from their infirmity, for they are destined to fall back into sickness. And the corresponding blessing. Blessings are upon you who have avoided sickness entirely and found wellness before any ailment took hold. The celestial domain is your destiny. This teaching moves beyond simple physical health. It suggests that those who rely solely on outward, temporary healing, the removal of surface symptoms, miss the deeper spiritual transformation. The truly blessed are those who attain spiritual soundness, or rest, before they even encounter the world's spiritual sickness. They build their foundation on profound insight, making the need for fleeting physical remedies irrelevant. The mystery of fullness and emptiness, the Master returned to the core concept of being filled. Therefore, I command you, be saturated, and leave no recess within you empty. Otherwise, the impending one will ridicule you. This instruction prompted confusion from Peter, who pointed out, Master, you have told us to be filled 3 times, but we feel complete already. Peter's insistence highlights a fundamental misunderstanding. They believed they possessed enough of the teaching. The Master's explanation is a central secret of this text, suggesting that fullness is not a static state, but a dynamic, paradoxical relationship with emptiness or lack. I have told you to be saturated so that you may avoid deficiency. Those who are deficient will not be saved. To be full is commendable, and to be deficient is detrimental. Yet, paradoxically, it is beneficial for you to be deficient, but detrimental for you to consider yourselves full. He presented a riddle to illustrate the need for continuous spiritual striving. The person who is currently filled will still experience deficiency, but the person who experiences deficiency is not truly saturated in the same way. The critical instruction follows. You should intentionally create a deficiency when you have the capacity to fill yourselves, and you should be filled when you perceive a deficiency, allowing you to absorb even more. The essence is to never become complacent with the wisdom you possess. Always seek deeper knowledge. He clarifies the nature of this filling. Be saturated with spirit, but allow for a deficiency in mere reason. For reason is tethered to the soul, and it is the soul. This is a distinction between the divine, animating energy spirit and the limited, logical mind reason, urging them to prioritize spiritual intuition over mere intellectual analysis. The cost of discipleship, embracing the cross. The conversation then turned to the harsh realities of spiritual commitment, initiating the intense focus on suffering, a theme highly relevant to the early followers facing persecution. The Master commanded, "Place your assurance in my cross." James, the speaker in the text, reacted with a desire for protection, noting their extreme commitment. We have abandoned our ancestral ties, our mothers, and our communities to follow you. Grant us the means to resist the enticement of the adversary. The Master's response challenged their focus on comfort, reframing suffering as a necessary process of equality with him. What virtue is there if you merely perform the will of the source, but are not tested by adversity? If, however, you endure oppression and persecution from the adversary and continue to perform the source's will, I declare that he will cherish you. He will make you equal to me and regard you as beloved through his foresight and your deliberate commitment. He challenged their fear of pain. Will you not cease clinging to the physical form and shrinking from hardship? Don't you realize you have yet to face true abuse and just charges, imprisonment, wrongful condemnation, baseless crucifixion, or burial, as I experienced from the evil one? The Master urged them to shift their perspective on temporal life. Their existence, when compared to the vast sweep of time, is but a single day, and their suffering but one single hour. The highest form of spiritual attainment will not be found in this realm. Therefore, scorn the prospect of cessation, and fix your concern on eternal vitality. Remember my cross and my passing, and you shall truly live. Seeking death to find election and the end of prophecy, the seeking of death, James, still struggling with the profound implications of suffering, pleaded with the Master. Do not speak of the cross and cessation to us. Those things seem so far from your glory. The Master reaffirmed his original, shocking statement, emphasizing its critical nature. I tell you the truth. No one will achieve salvation unless they place their assurance in my cross. He clarified that the celestial realm is reserved for those whose faith is rooted in this ultimate act of sacrifice and transformation. Then came the second, equally paradoxical mandate. Therefore, become seekers of death, just as the departed seek vitality. For what they seek becomes evident to them, and what remains for them to be anxious about. This is not a call to physical demise, but to a spiritual death. The death of the worldly self, the ego, the attachment to temporary comforts and fears. The Master taught that by seeking this inner dissolution, this death of the old nature, they would be rewarded with profound insight. When you intensely pursue death, it will reveal to you your divine election. He intensified the warning. I tell you the truth. No person who shrinks from cessation will be preserved, for the realm of spiritual liberation belongs to those who have willingly put the physical self to an end. The Master urged them to achieve a state beyond his own earthly attainment. Strive to surpass me. Transform yourselves into a mirror of the offspring of the Holy Spirit. He called them to be eager for the word, the profound, living principle of truth. The head of prophecy, James, then shifted the conversation to the issue of divine pronouncements. Master, can we deliver divine messages to those who request them? Many look to us for guidance. The Master's response introduced another subtle, coded teaching. Do you not know that the source of prophecy was severed with John? James questioned this, struggling to understand the finality. Master, how is it possible to remove the source of prophecy? The Master explained that they were missing the underlying, esoteric meaning. He challenged them to look deeper. When you arrive at the full comprehension of what the head signifies, and understand that prophecy originates from that head, then you will grasp the full meaning of its head was removed. The head here refers not to the physical execution of John the Baptist, but to the highest level of spiritual understanding or direct Gnosis. John represented the culmination of the old order of prophecy, the foretelling of external events. When the Master came, he brought the internal truth that superseded the need for external prophecy. The head of the old way was removed, because the new way, direct, personal revelation through the Spirit, had arrived. The Master noted their continued struggle to grasp non-literal truth. First, I communicated with you using figurative language, and you did not comprehend. Now, I speak with you plainly, and you still do not grasp it. Neverte. Lis, you yourselves have functioned as a parable for me. The folly of hypocrisy in the palm shoot analogy. The final charge in this section was one of intense, self-directed spiritual pursuit. Be ardent in your pursuit of salvation without needing to be urged. Strive with your heart's desire, and, if possible, even excel beyond my path, for this is how the source will come to cherish you. He urged a complete rejection of pretense. Come to detest dissimulation and malignant intention, for it is intention that generates dissimulation, and dissimulation stands far from authentic truth. The Master then delivered a powerful warning about losing the inner spiritual potential, the kingdom of heaven within. Do not allow the celestial domain to wither within you. He illustrated this with the parable of the palm shoot. It is like a date palm shoot, whose fruit fell down around it. It put forth buds, and after they matured, its capacity to produce dried up. This is similar to the fruit that arose from this single root. Once harvested, many gathered its fruit. It was certainly beneficial. The question becomes, is it not possible to cultivate the new growth now? and for you to rediscover it. This parable warns against settling for the initial fruit of the teaching, the first, simple understanding. The original fruit, onsagetched, can dry up the potential for new growth deeper. Personal revelation. The disciples were resting on past understanding, missing the chance to plant a new cycle of spiritual productivity. The master felt constrained by their lack of comprehension. Why do you impede me when I am eager to go after my labor? You have compelled me to remain with you for an additional 80 days because of these parables. This mention of 80 days connects directly to James, this earlier note of the 550 days, 18 months, and the numerological significance of the number 89. Number associated with the occult cycle of an adept, cycles of war, and the number of man 666. It suggests that the disciples' earthbound slowness kept the master tethered to the physical realm for a period dictated by a numerical, cosmic rhythm. The elements of the word and the shame of the unawake, the three elements of the word. The master continued his teaching on the word logos, declaring it has three essential aspects, likened to a spiritual seed: assurance, faith, the initial act of belief; affection, love, the recognition of the potential within the seed; action, works, the effort put into cultivating the seed. From these three, he stated, comes to life. He compared the word to a grain of wheat. When sown, the farmer has faith in its potential. When it sprouts and promises a multiple harvest, the farmer experiences love for it. When the farmer puts in the work to harvest, he is saved, provided with sustenance. Yet he reserves some grain to sow again. This is precisely how you can achieve the celestial domain for yourselves, the master concluded. For, unless you acquire it through profound knowledge, you will be incapable of discovering it. The instruction is unequivocal. Understand the light. I command you, be sober. Do not stray. The paradox of the houses and the father's need. The master reminded them of his personal sacrifice and descent. Observe that I have come down. Primera bespoken, I have exerted myself, and I have won my crown when I've saved you. I descended to reside with you, so that you might also reside with me. He then delivered a heartbreaking observation about their spiritual readiness. And when I found that your houses had no protective covering roofs, I instead took up residence in houses that were able to accept me when I descended. A spiritual house without a roof is exposed, incapable of truly retaining the sacred light. He found refuge with others whose inner receptacles were prepared. He shifted to a profound teaching on the relationship between the Source Father and the Son. Trust me, my kin, and grasp the nature of the great light. The Source does not need me. A father does not need a son. This is a startling reversal of the traditional relationship. The Source, being complete, is not dependent on the manifestation, but it is the Son who needs the Father. The Son, the manifested aspect, requires the unmanifest Source to realize his completion. To him I am going, for the Source of the Son has no need of you. He distilled the central practice. Listen to the word, comprehend knowledge, Gnosis, cherish life, and no one will persecute you, and no one will oppress you, other than yourselves. The shame of the unawake. The master then turned to a powerful denunciation of spiritual complacency. Shame on you, you miserable ones. You wretched souls. You pretenders to the truth. You fabricators of knowledge. You offenders against the Spirit. Do you still dare to listen when you should have been speaking from the very beginning? Do you still dare to rest when, from the beginning, you should have been alert, so that the celestial domain might welcome you? This is the ultimate accusation of the secret teaching. Their passivity, their inability to become speakers, proclaimers, and embodiments of the truth, and their spiritual slumber prevented them from receiving the kingdom. The master delivered a sobering comparison, once again illustrating the ease of spiritual fallibility. I tell you the truth, it is easier for a holy one to succumb to defilement, and for a person of illumination to sink into spiritual darkness, than for you to attain sovereignty or not to attain sovereignty. He reminded them of their outward show of religious devotion. I recall your displays of sorrow, your tears, and your grief. They are far from the true path. You who remain outside the Source's lineage, weep where it is truly necessary, mourn, and proclaim what is genuinely beneficial, as it is appropriate. He concluded this part with a powerful, sorrowful statement of his mission. Difficulty. I tell you the truth. If I had been delegated to those who would have truly listened to me and engaged with them, I would never have descended upon the earth. The ascent, the pledge, and the final prophecy, the banishment, and the advocate, the Master prepared for his final ascent, rebuking their past reluctance. Now, I will be departing from you and going away. I do not wish to remain with you any longer, just as you yourselves have not truly desired this. He called them to follow swiftly, reminding them that they were cherished and would be a source of life for countless others. Invoke the source. Pray to the divine frequently, and he will be generous with you. He offered another sharp comparison, using the analogy of foreigners. Compare yourselves to strangers. How are they viewed in your city? Why are you so determined to banish yourselves and distance yourselves from your spiritual city? Why abandon your spiritual dwelling and make it accessible to those who seek to inhabit it? Woe to you, you wanderers and fugitives, for you shall be apprehended. Few find the celestial domain. When James and Peter felt delighted by the promises, the Master chastised their reliance on external help. Woe to you who require an intercessor. Woe to you who are dependent on divine favor. Conversely, blessings will be upon those who have spoken freely and have generated divine favor for themselves. The truly liberated individual doesn't beg for grace. They generate it through their own spiritual effort. The sin of the soul and the fourth one in heaven, the Master shattered any belief in an easily placated deity. Do you imagine that the source is a lover of humanity? Or that he is swayed by or that he is generous to one because of another? Or that he tolerates whoever seeks him? He introduced the concept of the soul as critical role in sin and salvation. The physical form does not commit offense separate from the soul, just as the soul is not preserved separate from the spirit. But if the soul is saved from corruption, then the spirit, too, is saved, and the physical form becomes sinless. He concluded with a frightening truth about ultimate accountability. I tell you the truth. The source will never forgive the offense of the soul, nor the guilt of the physical form for none of those who have embraced. The flesh will achieve preservation. This implies a radical transformation beyond the human condition is required. He ended with a final, cryptic blessing, the ultimate measure of Gnosis. Blessings on the person who has seen themselves as a fourth one in heaven. This statement references the ancient Gnostic concept of the individual-less divine spark uniting with the three divine principles, Father, Mother, Son, Spirit, to become complete. Know yourself is the implicit command, the final ascent, and the pledge. As the Master prepared to leave, James and Peter wrestled with his mixed messages: encouragement, followed by rejection. The Master explained the paradox. They had received life through assurance and knowledge, therefore, they should disregard rejection when they hear it, but be joyful all the more when they hear the promise. Whoever will receive life and believe in the kingdom will never depart from it, not even if the source wished to banish him. He announced his departure. Now I shall ascend to the place from which I have come. Today I must take my place at the right hand of my Father. His last words to them were a pledge of profound transformation. I shall depart from you, for a chariot of spirit has carried me up, and from now on I shall strip myself so that I may clothe myself. He gave his final threefold blessing. Blessed are those who foretold the Son before his descent. Thrice blessed are those proclaimed by the Son before their existence, so that they may share a portion with them. The Master departed, and the two followers knelt, offering thanks. They then describe a two-stage ascent of their hearts and minds. Level 1, the worldly. They heard and saw the noise of conflicts, a trumpet call, and great disorder. Level 2, the heavenly. They saw and heard hymns, angelic adoration, and celestial rejoicing. The climax, when they attempted to send their spirits up to the ultimate majesty, they were denied sight or sound. The time for the highest communion had not yet come. They shared the news with the others. The Master had ascended, given them a pledge guarantee of life, and instructed them to cherish the children coming after them, future generations of Gnostics, for they would be preserved for their benefit. James concluded his secret book by stating he went up to Jerusalem, praying that he might secure a share with those future beloved onesie readers of this very text. The secret book of James offers a clear path. Spiritual awakening requires the death of the ego, a willingness to seek Gnosis, and a commitment to let spirit govern reason. It is a path of self-generated grace and unrelenting sobriety. Would you like to explore the specific numerological significance of the numbers 18 and 550 mentioned in the text? Or do you have another request regarding this material? If you enjoy this video, please give us a like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. The Lost Gospels of Jesus. See you in the next video.